welcome back to the Express at the Port Moody Arts Centre. Now, there may not be a man on the moon, but there's definitely life on Mars, or at least a form of it that was built to last only 6 months and ended up lasting 6 years. You can find out what I'm talking about at the H.R. MacMillan Space Centre.
Well, hello there. It's Cam Cronin here at the H.R. MacMillan Space Centre for the Express. Raminder is on special assignment today, but he did leave a message. He said to tell everybody that he thought I'm doing a great job. So good. Now, today we're going to talk about Spirit and Opportunity. You may have heard of these before. They're Martian rovers. They were launched back in 2004, and they have been traversing the surface of Mars ever since. Now, Spirit is actually kind of finished. I don't want to say it's dead because that's really depressing to say that something's dead, but it's not responding to our signals anymore. We've been sending signals to it for quite some time, and in fact just the other day they sent the final signal that basically put Spirit to sleep. Now, I don't want anybody to feel depressed about this because Spirit has done some amazing work on the surface of Mars. Both of these rovers were designed to last for about 90 days, 3 months. They have lasted over 6 years. They were designed to travel at most 1 kilometer out from their landing zone, and they've traveled over 7.5 kilometers away from their landing zones. They've taken over 124,000 images of Mars, and they've dealt with some adversity. Now, the rover that's behind me here, notice it has 6 wheels on it. Spirit, a little while ago, lost one of its wheels. One of its wheels was damaged. And again, this sounds depressing, but Spirit managed to live on. It started driving everywhere in reverse, dragging its poor 6th wheel behind it. Now, there were some amazing discoveries with these 2 rovers on Mars. They discovered that Mars really was like Earth at one point. It probably did have a water environment that made certain erosions. Probably water that's now the ice that is in the caps on Mars. And it's one of those things that, as far as I'm concerned, it did the job so well that it's a real testament to the technology of the men and women at NASA that designed these rovers for that use. Now, Opportunity is still up in space. It's still on Mars. It's still driving all around. The reason that Spirit probably didn't last as long as it was in a harsher area with harder winters, so it did have to suffer a little bit more abuse every time the Martian winter came and it had to try and warm itself back up again. So next time you're out in the night sky, and this summer hopefully it's good viewing, look up towards Mars and spare a thought for the Spirit rover, which is finally sleeping after doing a great job on the surface of Mars all these years. For the Express here at the H.R. MacMillan Space Centre, I'm Cam Cronin. Happy stargazing.
Summer is finally here, and you can head to the H.R. MacMillan Space Centre's website to find about their kids' camps for the summer. Now, before the weather changed and before the riots and the Canucks playoffs and the election, there was one thing that was the talk of the town, giving booming business to hat stores everywhere. I'm talking about the royal wedding, and there's one thing that you didn't see during the excessive TV coverage. It was that Shaw TV's very own wedding bells were sent to London on a special assignment.
Carrots Wedding Bells is brought to you by Carrots, online at carrots.com.
We met with Real Weddings magazine, which features local weddings with real people. Sarah, have you ever done an article before?
Not that wasn't for school.
They turned us into roving reporters, sending us all the way to jolly old England to cover the wedding of the century.
Let us know what you experienced there, just from the ground.
First stop, Hat Gallery. Why are hats essential at a royal wedding?
Wearing a hat's always been a sign of respect.
Sarah was concerned with impressing the Queen.
Aubrey, you are not the center of attention at the royal wedding.
I'm not?
I had a different concern.
I have a very big head.
The hats were like pieces of art.
It's almost like someone put on your hat and then the wind went.
Okay, Aubrey.
I realized it's just all about fun.
All right, well, we're halfway to the royal wedding. We got the hats.
But the hats were never worn because a certain hard-hitting reporter dragged us to Buckingham Palace at midnight.
I panicked and felt that there was a party down here Vancouver, and we had to get here early in order to secure seats. I think people have arrived just 10 minutes ago and are at the exact same spot that we are.
There we sat amongst the commoners. We're delirious. The day before had been much more regal at the Savoy Hotel of London.
We're synonymous what it is to be luxury and London.
They've been serving tea for 105 years.
Traditionally, the reason that it got its name is it was low tea and high tea. Low tea, which is afternoon tea, would be served on a low table, like a tea table, and high tea would be served on a dinner table.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Tip me over and pour me out.
It's our show, don't worry.
Yeah,
this
I'm never
does not
going to live
reflect
this
you.
down.
We know if I'm going to snag a gentleman, I still need some refining. Thank goodness for Jeremy Fine and Princess Prep.
It's a summer camp for little girls to be princesses.
She put us through our princess paces. Most importantly, she taught us.
Doesn't matter what your title is or your status, it's who you are on the inside.
After 10 hours of waiting, it was time for the world's newest princess.
I'm getting so excited.
And people were getting innovative. My camera was ready, and yeah, I couldn't focus. But Sarah saw it.
We've come all this way for this moment. I'm just so emotional.
However, this journalist did document the moment the world had been waiting for. Back home, Angie said our writing and photos were perfect. We had told our story of two wannabe princesses enjoying tea, hat shopping, and remembering to be true to themselves. The friends we made we won't soon forget, or singing the national anthem with an entire nation.
For Shaw TV, we're the Wedding Bells.
Carrots Wedding Bells has been brought to you by Carrots, online at carrots.com.
You're watching The Express, and we have more travel ideas. These are adventures that you can only find in BC. Coming up next.
Ooh, I was thinking maybe you go first.
After the break.
I want to hear your scream levels.
Peachland's new ZipZone.
Wow.
Completely different feeling compared to a plane.
Kamloops helicopter tours. The Express. We are your local voice.
Almost 4.5 million Canadians live with arthritis. It's a leading cause of pain and disability. Arthritis strikes young and old alike, and the burden of illness takes an enormous toll. The Canadian Arthritis Network is a not-for-profit organization that funds research and connects today's players in arthritis research. We're all working together so that today's arthritis research becomes tomorrow's cure. For more information, please visit arthritisnetwork.ca.
We are kids. Wish kids.
10,000 kids.
We are brave.
We are strong.
We are fighters.
Some days are good, some days are bad.
Some of us make it.
Some of us don't.
My wish will make me strong.
The Children's Wish Foundation of Canada.
Does a wish make a difference?
You bet.
You bet.
Imagine the difference a wish can make.
Only 2 more needles till my wish.
Please give today.
Welcome back to The Express at the Port Moody Arts Centre. We're going to get you to hang on tight for our next feature. We're checking out the brand new zipline in Peachland with today's road trip.
Travel along with us on the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip as we explore the many marvelous attractions and activities of beautiful British Columbia.
Today, Tim Morton and I are traveling to the heart of the Okanagan, where we've been invited by a few friends in high places to enjoy the BC forests from a whole new perspective. ZipZone Adventure Park is located just outside of Peachland and boasts a number of high-flying adventures across a canyon and a forest canopy that is its own little piece of paradise. Before we start zipping, we need to check out our safety gear. Hey, Tim.
Good fit.
We did a little lucky head knock. There we go.
Am I looking super cool?
You got a little short adjustment you need to do.
Yeah.
And, are you going to go down first then in front of me so I can watch and see?
I was thinking maybe you go first.
I want to hear your scream levels.
I'm all of a sudden petrified.
We'll be cruising at a few hundred feet across a rocky, river-filled gorge. And although he has a little trepidation, Tim's no wimp. He's a soon-to-be zip man. Kevin Bennett, the owner, gives him the lowdown to help boost his confidence and assure his safety.
But if, heaven forbid, something came down from heaven and something damaged this pulley, and then the pulley just exploded into a million pieces, what would happen is that this steel carabiner here...
That's really reassuring.
I show my support with an encouraging countdown.
Oh, man.
He's now ready for his launch across death-defying heights atop the Okanagan wilderness.
Have a great ride.
Wow! This is awesome! Here comes Jill the Thrill.
Being an adrenaline junkie, I give myself a spin for the thrill of it and feel only one complaint come to mind, that it's over too soon.
Hey, how's it going?
I need to do at least 10 more before I know for sure if I like it.
We head to the next run and learn a bit of history on the way.
Kevin mentioned you had some mine shafts down here too you're going to explore,
That's
right?
right, you might.
Mine shafts, bear caves, eagle nests, and even a resident moose are all part of the atmosphere at ZipZone as the manager Josh takes us through.
Well, line 5 is a really nice line because it's very close to the canyon, so it gives you perspective of what you've done so far. And the best part about this is you can look up there and you can see the line that you came across first. And there's a small chance that you might actually see some other guests going while you're going across. So it's going to be lots of people in the air and yelling and screaming and having a great time.
The line is clear and the brake is set.
You may be asking yourself, how does one come up with the idea of opening their own zipline park? For entrepreneur Kevin Bennett, it was while on a zipline in Mexico that he was struck with the vision of building one of his own.
I was halfway across the first zip line and my mind was going, it went from 0 to 100 miles an hour in one go. It was so much fun. I just thought to myself, I have got to build one of these things. It was just an absolute blast. And so I came back from Mexico, spent about 6 weeks scouting out locations, writing my business plan, and that was about 16 months ago, and it all came together in the last 6 weeks.
During our tour, we can see they've taken special care to keep their impact low and the natural world welcome. It's taken both a fearless drive and careful determination to make it all happen. Kevin sums up his conviction through the motto tattooed across his arm.
I shall find a way or I shall make one, and so that's what the phrase means. I found it very fitting. Throughout my life I've been an entrepreneur, and as I always like to say, the tools of an entrepreneur are basically a brain, a cell phone and a checkbook. And fortunately I have a good cell phone, so that's really all you need as an entrepreneur. Is if you have the idea and the will and the drive to make it happen, anything's possible. And I've had so much fun doing this. Whenever you're ready, we are now ready to zip. Have a great ride.
We love you! In Peachland for Shaw TV, I'm Jillian Richards.
Entertaining and informative, the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip. Weekends on Shaw TV. Always something new and exciting.
We have more adrenaline action next week on this show with a monster truck ride at Saratoga Speedway, the only one in BC. But up next on The Express, it's a chance to see BC's interior in a whole new way. Just pretend that you're soaring like an eagle. A really, really loud one.
A lot of people say it's must be a pretty cool job. I must say it is a real rewarding job as far as careers that I have had in past careers. It's real gratifying when you can take somebody up, and especially tours, they've never been in a helicopter, and basically you get a big smile on their face and when you get back, and it's a lot of fun for a lot of people.
This former Alberta cowboy has brought the clear head and steady hand learned on the back 40 to a career as a pilot with CC Helicopters in Kamloops. This company offers tours of the area to passengers of all ages. While air travel of any kind is spectacular, there's nothing quite like the experience you get flying through the air in one of these special machines.
Basically the feeling of having that not weightlessness, but the lift from the helicopter, completely different feeling compared to a plane. Being low over the ground and stuff like that, you get a completely perspective of what you'd see from a plane being 35,000 feet to, say, 500 feet above ground. So 15-minute tours, you can normally get a pretty good view of the city, out Tobiano area, look at the Balancing Rock. In half an hour, you can go lots of areas. Half hour, we go up Sun Peaks a lot. A lot of people like to see that, but basically all I say whenever we're on a tour, I'm just basically a glorified taxi driver. So.
A taxi driver who's able to take people above the traffic for a spectacular view. He's also gotten a few odd requests from passengers that he simply had to turn down.
A lot of people like to fly over their house and get pictures and, oh, can you buzz this guy, buzz that guy, but we are stipulated by law that we can't get too low over the city, but we try and meet everybody's request as far as we can. So.
Helicopter tours are breathtaking, unforgettable, and as safe as any form of air travel out there. Chopper pilots are rigorously trained to keep these units flying smoothly through the air.
We got a few pilots that are have their commercial fixed wing and commercial rotary, and they say it's quite a jump to go from a fixed wing into a helicopter. Just everything's a little bit different. Basically, you got a rotor on top, and more pitch you add, up you go, and it's quite a juggling act to fly a helicopter compared to a fixed wing.
But with 5 years experience and hundreds of hours of flying time, Tim expertly took us on a scenic half-hour flight that was indeed very different from any other flight I've experienced.
How the helicopter flies, it's quite a amazing machine if you think about it.
If you're in Kamloops this summer and you'd like to try a helicopter tour of the area, visit CC Helicopters online at cc-heli.ca. In Kamloops, I'm Kirk Fraser for Shaw TV's Big Summer.
'Tis the season for sightseeing and celebrations, and we've got some ideas a little closer to home with today's Cultus Lake Big Summer Spotlight. Celebrating its 22nd season in 2011, Bard on the Beach offers Shakespeare plays, related dramas, and several special events in 2 performance tents. This year's Surrey celebration of Canada's 144th birthday features a free concert with world-class performers, great food, family-friendly activities, and a spectacular fireworks finale. This free event will feature outdoor music stages, family entertainment, sports activities, performing and visual arts, and First Nations history and culture. And that's it for today's Express from the Port Moody Arts Centre, where they have their student exhibit showing inside, and they're currently registering for summer art camps. We're going to leave you with more from the local art scene, and we'll see you next time.